where they should be destroyed. We have SAPs who confiscate firearms from various places. All right. Now,
please be patient, we have a problem.
Is something wrong with the mics?
Okay, test it now. Yeah.
Is that better?
Hi.
Sorry, guys.
Working. Sorry, we had a small technical issue. The
And
wonders of going live.
And I'm looking outside at Uji and he's eating stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, he's been swimming, so we've locked him outside.
Sorry.
Okay, so Section 21. So on the one hand, the police say to us that Section 21s aren't intended for locals.
Yeah.
Now they're telling us it's not intended for foreigners either. So we're not quite sure what Section 21s are actually there for. But so we have a foreign national. We had a foreign national last week that had his Section 21 refused. We've got one this week that has his Section 21 refused. He's a sports shooter. He's a he's a non-South African resident, but he's here on a long-term basis, and he does sports shooting. He does clay pigeon, clay target. This comprehensive reason given by the registrar. It is clear from your motivation that you need this firearm for permanent with a temporary authorization. You fail to provide a temporary nature for which a firearm is required. Now, these Muppets really get me going, because the reason why we have to use Section 21s for people that don't have South African residence is you can't get a competency certificate if you're not a South African citizen or if you don't have permanent residence.
Yeah.
So in order for those people, for whatever reason, for self-protection, for sporting purposes, the only way they can get a firearm without getting a competency is to get a Section 21. And the Section 21s are permits. They're not licenses. They are very restricted in their application. They're very restricted in their time for the first place. They're generally not longer than 12 months, although I believe they could be. But mostly they're like for 3, 6, or 12 months. In the second instance, they have very strict conditions which are given as to what you can do with the firearm. So they're exactly for this kind of circumstance.
We've had clients before.
We've had bags of clients
that were waiting for permanent residence that needed a firearm.
So what the registrar has done here is to invent again. He then the member then appealed. He did his own appeal, and the appeal was refused. And the refusal of the appeal. This is now from Advocate Shandu, our fantastically competent chairman of the appeals board. After due consideration of your appeal against the National Commissioner of Police's refusal of your application for a temporary authorization to possess a firearm, the appeal board has decided to refuse the appeal. The mere fact that you were issued with a temporary authorization more than once, this is before, serves as an indication that the authorization was no longer for a temporary purpose. Point is not about the temporary purpose. The point is about the fact that he, until such time as if he may never get permanent residence. Sorry, the dog is trying to break in the door now, and we don't want to let him in because he's soaking wet, so he's going to climb on our laps. So the guy might be working here on a contract for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. He wants to practice his sport, which is clay target shooting. There's no reason why he can't have the temporary renewed for 3, 4, or 5 years. He's not going to apply for permanent residence. So how else is he supposed to practice the sport?
And it's worked like that in the past as well.
And it goes on to in rather poor English to try to state things about you seem to be issued and blah 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 blah. The provisions of the Act cannot be circumvented by issuing of temporary authorizations. You have not in any way indicated. So this guy's now this member is now quite upset, and he is now going to take this on judicial review, which is exactly what we need. We need guys to take stuff on judicial review because we need to establish the law in this case. We need to establish the law and then beat the appeals board around their silly heads with the ruling until they understand it.
The story is if you haven't got a person that's prepared to actually take it further,
Guys,
or settle in front of the courts, but actually take it through the there's
guys,
no precedent.
that's exactly. We're not going to get anywhere unless we're prepared to prosecute these cases. And here we have a member who's incensed enough to prosecute, and we're ready with it. We're busy with that. Then we have another guy. A shame. He shares a name with his father. They stay in the same house.
I can see this is going to what the problem is going to be.
So he applies for Section 13. His father also applies for a Section 13. His father's gets approved. His is refused. And the reason why his is refused,
I get to see what's happening.
You're applying for a firearm license in terms of Section 13 of the Firearms Control Act. However, more than one license has already been issued in terms of this section.
Have they looked at the ID numbers?
According to the records of the SAPS, you're already in possession of a firearm registered in your name. You fail to indicate why your existing firearm is not suitable for this purpose.
They didn't look at the ID numbers.
They didn't look at the ID numbers. It's like we've lost the technology to read ID numbers. You know, we don't. Maybe it's those 30% in schoolers. They don't do very well with figures. Yeah. So they've gone by his name,
and that's it. Not
and by his residential address. They haven't bothered to notice that. Oh shit! He has two different ID numbers. Sorry, I apologize.
And it's probably
two different ID numbers, and the one is 30 years after the first one. Maybe it's two different people. Wow! No, they haven't figured that out yet. So now this gets further. So we see the deciding officer. Now this is the original decision of the registrar. Now this is not something which you can appeal. Because the decision is based on a mistake. It's based on the lack of competence of the deciding officer. It's not something which you're appealing a decision, because it's not a decision. This is just a mistake. It's an oops. The Muppet didn't read the ID numbers.
They should be able to fix it easily.
So the Muppet in question here is Lieutenant Colonel T.K. Dlamini. So we get this and we think, oh well, this is obviously just a mistake. The guy had a bad day. His eyes were a bit blurry, whatever it was. Let's just phone him and tell him that he just made a mistake with the ID number. He can correct it because it's a mistake. It's not a decision which is based on fact. No. It's a decision which is based on a mistake which he made. So we phoned Colonel T.K. Dlamini. Colonel T.K. Dlamini picks up the phone. Our in-house counsel identifies himself to him. Colonel T.K. Dlamini goes and puts the phone down. Makes a dismissive noise and puts the phone down. So we are proceeding with an appeal, but Colonel T.K. Dlamini, take a bow, you muppet. Okay, then we have, you guys might all have recalled a couple of years ago, the South African Defence Force had a case of a Muslim lady with a hijab.
Oh, yes, that's one of the Girls on Fire things.
Yes. Okay, so this is starting to crop up more and more often now. And the whole ruling is that as long as the face is identifiable, it doesn't matter. They can wear the hijab. The hijab, when you look at a photograph of a lady with a hijab, and her full face is visible, there's no mask over the face or anything like that, like the stupid things we have to do with COVID. There's no mask over the face. It's not obscuring any features. It may as well be a photograph of a lady with long black hair.
Exactly.
It doesn't obscure a damn thing.
Or the ladies can change the hair from blue to pink to
Exactly.
purple to whatever.
Exactly. So we've
stuff.
received this again. We're proceeding with another one of our clients with us, where it's where they've refused. We've managed to convince the competency section to use photos with hijabs, but the licensing section is now refusing that, because the licensing although you may remember, they don't change your photograph on your card in any case. No. So it's all bloody immaterial. It's just they're just reaching for a reason to refuse.
It's the same with, think about it, a man having a beard or not a beard. You still have
exactly.
It's actually the whole face is still clear. There's absolutely no problem.
Exactly the same. It's just absolute nonsense. So we're busy. When we dealt with our previous appeal on this basis, it was an isolated incident. Now it's happening more and more often. This is going to be a big thing, guys. We are going to go to the media with this. This might end up in front of the Human Rights Commission.
Because that's something Girls on Fire feels very
the Girls on Fire
strongly
specifically has a problem with this.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the Muslim Judicial Council with this as well. Explain this to them and let these muppets that make these decisions, let them stand up and answer for themselves. We're tired of this.
There's no difference.
It's nonsense.
If you look at stuff like that, they basically that's it. They've got, as I said, hairstyles can change and stuff.
Exactly.
Everything else. Yeah.
You can shave your hair off. You can have long hair on the one photo, shave your hair off on the next photo. It doesn't matter. Same face.
Exactly.
Doesn't change the features of the face at all. Okay, so then
that's discrimination.
That's just pure discrimination.
That's it.
It's people searching for a reason, for a pretext for refusing.
And to make people make life difficult.
Who knows? Maybe they. Who knows? I'm not saying that they're anti-Muslim or that they're anti-Semitic. I'm not saying that at all. But this certainly could lead to that kind of conclusion.
Yeah.
Being drawn by some people, not me. I don't label people like that. But anyway, so here we are. During this week, we were contacted at the last moment by a program, Daily Thetha, on SABC 1. Yeah. It's a magazine type program as far as I can ascertain. But the interesting thing is that the invitation comes to me, and it's quite plain that they have been briefed and set up by Gun Free South Africa to run a program on how bad guns are and how guns lead to all ills in society, etc., etc. And it's quoting directly from Gun Free South Africa's talking points. 80% of all violent attacks are caused by guns and stuff like that. Then it's absolute crap. It's I think the figure is 30% of firearms are used, 36% is sharp objects. Almost as
we've gone through
anyway. We've gone through this. It's just rubbish statistics again. So anyway, but so we did a bit of investigation into the program and into the presenters and stuff like that, and we realized, hang on a second, this is not. So we said, who else is on the program? Oh, Gun Free South Africa is on the program. What a surprise! So we knew we'd come up against our old nemesis, Adele.
Well, at least you didn't try, because she doesn't. She
So
wouldn't have been there if you went. She never wanted.
Well,
to be
yeah,
in the
that's
same.
true too. She doesn't like being in the same room with me. And I'm very polite to her always.
No,
I ask her how she's doing. Anyway, so Tshepi Mmekwa, my fellow director and also director of GOSA Girls on Fire, volunteered to do the program. We gave her some briefing on Wednesday. Yesterday morning was on the program, and I think we have a clip that we can play you on this, just in case you haven't seen it.
Where they should be destroyed. We have SAPs who pick up, confiscate firearms from various places. All right. Now, we know for sure, case in point, Norwood Police Station, where the firearms are sold to criminal elements. And that's where our problem starts, because those firearms are still within circulation. Now, you want legally licensed people to relinquish their right, which is enshrined in the Constitution, to defend life.
But Tshepi, I think because Lieutenant Colonel,
Constitution to use a gun for self-defense, and you know that.
But
there is no right in
Our
our
right
Constitution.
is to defend our life.
Yes, but not with the gun.
We will give you a fair chance.
Sorry, but
we'll
that
give you
is
a fair
incorrect.
chance. But we would like to give, of course, the Lieutenant Colonel an opportunity for Mr. Matas to also explain, because I mean that also comes across as an allegation to the Norwood Station.
Was that the clip that where Adele interrupts her? Okay, so being on air 101, you look like an idiot when you're so desperate for airtime that you start interrupting the other party above the objections of the presenters. It makes you look like a total twit. So Adele, take a bow. You look like a total twit there. It's well done to Tshepi. She kept her head.
Because she was not with friends.
She was not with friends. So just to her left, there's a Gun Free South Africa community leader from Alexandra Township. Across from her, obviously, was Adele, a colonel from the police, and then behind them was sitting a lady who was planted there, quite obviously, who had been a victim of an accidental criminal shooting. A couple of last year sometime, and she it was an accidental discharge, but it was obviously a gangster's weapon or something like that, which has nothing to do with anything. It's the whole thing about the police not being able to do their damn jobs.
But they started the program talking about the policeman that with his service weapon.
Yes,
actually
correct.
Shot his girlfriend
in Tembisa. Yeah.
That is, they go after legal.
They go after legal gun owners and they say, okay, but so this is in light of this horrible incident.
GBV.
It is horrible. Where this policeman shot his girlfriend in a hospital in Tembisa with his service pistol. So somehow this equates to only the police should have guns, you know.
How?
Are you guys drunk? Are you not seeing what you're saying? Are you not working this out? It's the policemen that are the problem in this instance. So don't make this about legal firearm owners. It just isn't us. Anyway, so Tshepi represented very well. I think we have another clip, if I'm not mistaken, that we can show you on that. Honest?
No.
Not. Okay, sorry. Sorry, that one's not rendering. But go and have a look at that. We've posted the link to that on the GOSA Facebook group. We'll pop it into the link into the comments below this video. You can go and have a look at the full program if you want to.
And then go and comment as well.
And then go and comment.
I've commented.
These public programs they always welcome public comments. So let's get our public comments in there.
And most of the comments, 80% was actually pro-gun, which was quite
Most of the comments in any case come down on our side of the fence, but let's push that over the line if we can, guys. So yeah.
I just want to talk about, I think it's the 16th of April. Is it, Hannes, what was the new date? That is 16th of April. We're going to add, in conjunction with Waterfall Arms, that's done a lot for us in the past for Girls on Fire. We're going to have a audition for the Scrappy the Land Rover song. So please, it's going to be between 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock that day. If your kid between the ages of 5 and 16 have a good voice and would like to be involved with this, please bring them along, and we'll have mics and the backing track, and we'll audition for some singers.
Let's get the community involved, guys. Bring your kids, rent kids, whatever.
That sounds terrible. So your sense of humor sometimes. Any case, the Girls on Fire event is still going ahead on the 2nd of April. We've had some awesome sponsorships, from Sun International to very good from Waterfall Arms again, from Outdoor Investment. Fantastic sponsorships.
We got 2 nights for 2 people at the Palace of the Lost City. I'm going to be wearing a skirt so I can take part in the competition.
And Guns Galore, which is a very small company, want to mention them. They've given us about 20,000 rands worth of sponsorship. So local company in Alberton, please, small company, and they've given us a lot of sponsorship and very nice stuff. They do concealment carries for ladies and for men. They do the belly bands. They do bra holsters
So
for
can I
ladies.
wear that with my skirt?
You can wear that with the skirt if you want as well. Any case, that's about it. Have a fantastic weekend. We're going to start it with the brides now.
Yep,
So
briar
in
fire.
a good South African style.
My time to go light the briar fire.
Any
Cheers,
case,
guys. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Scrappy the Land Rover has lots of friends. Come play with us, the fun never ends. We're gun buddies, we learn gun safety. It's fun and easy, just like 1, 2, 3. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. Someone has a gun they keep in their room. Don't touch it or it will go boom. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. A friend invites you to come and play. He tells you to touch a gun. No, that's not okay. Scrappy knows what's best, so listen girls and boys. Guns are not bad, but guns are not toys. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away. If you see a gun, you shouldn't be afraid. You're a gun buddy and you'll be okay. So gun buddies, what does Scrappy say? Stop, don't touch, call a parent, walk away.
We are now taking nominations for our 3rd annual GOSA Girls on Fire Fighting Spirit Award, to be awarded at our Top Shot Gala event on the 2nd of April 2022. The Fighting Spirit Award was implemented to recognize those otherwise ordinary women who step up to the plate when life throws them a curveball. We celebrate their triumph over adversity, to set an example for other women of what can be done. We hope that their action will be a shining example to other women out there that need courage. Please send your nominations to ant@gosa.co.za.
I am your sister in arms. Support GOSA Girls on Fire.